Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gaurav. I'm going to take the next 10 to 15 minutes of your time. It'll be ironical to take a longer time when I'm talking about short form videos, right? But before we get into this and talk about AI, I don't know how many times we would have used this today, and also about data. I just wanted to do a small survey, if that's okay. So show of hands, how many of you have used a SMS service, short message service in the last 1 week? Like you've sent an SMS to someone? Have you? I haven't, okay. Okay, some of you? How much is that? 10, 15%. How many of you have used WhatsApp or are using it right now while listening to me typing out quickly? Okay, fair enough. How many of you saw a video longer than 15 minutes? And I'm not referring to Emily in Paris season 28, but something that you actually consumed over a YouTube or on your smartphone, which is longer than 15 minutes. Okay, about 20%. And how many of you saw a short video, something less than a minute, or are watching it right now because this seems too boring for you? Okay, fair enough. Again, I'm belaboring the point that just like instant messaging went through its pivotal change about a decade back or so, in which today sending an SMS to a friend, a colleague, a boss, or anyone else seems so unreal, seems so less connected because WhatsApp is there in our lives. Similarly, I can promise you that all the data tells us that consumers have moved on to everything which is short form. So if somebody comes up here or tells you that short form video is the future, they are probably living in the past because short form video is the present. The consumers have moved on. They're only consuming short form videos of all kinds. It is not only restricted to an entertainment or jokes or dance steps or hook steps, while they're great. It is also very much now for all the financial advice, life advice, if you will, fashion, beauty, the usual suspects, and everything under the sun. My 13-year-old son actually watches some of the short form videos for his mathematical concepts, believe it or not. So they quickly tell you in a quirky way, in a minute-long video, what is this new mathematical concept, right? Clearly, short form videos have taken the world by the storm. We all know of this company called ByteDance, came out of China. Took the world by a storm with their world-class algorithms. Probably the first non-American tech company that gave the tech giants based out of California some sleepless nights. Of course, they've now caught on, and we know what's happening there, right? But what does it mean for all of us as we talk about AI and data, right? If I were to ask you, what do you think is the hero in a short-form video? What do you just shout it out? What do you think? Is it creativity? The hook, okay, which is what the creator makes the first 3 seconds or something like that, right? Anything else? The music, the tonality, how engaging is it? Something of that sort, right? I think I'll tell you from what we've been doing this for about 9 years. ShareChat was founded in 2015. I can actually tell you that behind every 15-second clip that you're watching on your phone, there's actually a mountain of data which is actually the hero. Because unless the machine knows what content category is this, what are the nuances of all the data points, the recommendation system cannot suggest you the next best video. And unless that recommendation is razor sharp, I can promise you, you will either switch off that app or you will move on to do something else. And that is why we fundamentally believe that behind every short form video that you see is actually tons and tons of data and a world-class AI recommendation system that actually empowers it, right? This, in fact, of course, an obvious plug at ShareChat and Moj. We are today's India's largest short-form video play. More than 300 million people consume us every day, more than 30 minutes. Some of those data points my marketing team has put up on the slide. I won't bore you with them. But there are 4 things that I want you to take away from the next 10 minutes. If you can remember 2 or 3, I'll be happy. So let's get into them. Okay, a very obvious one. I think we need to update the 2025 is almost here, so my marketing team probably needs to put a more ambitious and a futuristic number to this. But out of the 800 odd million smartphones that we have in the country today, short form video is consumed by about 80% of Indians. It is not a good to have thing. It is probably the first thing that a person does when they switch on their new smartphone in a tier 4 city. It is driven by a couple of needs. One is a short form video, basically a way to get entertained, and the other is communication or payments. And that is what is actually driving a tier 4 Indian, the 800 millionth Indian today, to spend his hard-earned money to buy a smartphone. Very obviously, so that's number one, short form video is here, the consumers have moved on. Have we as brand managers, marketeers, agency folks, are we now reaching them out or not? Needless to say, short form video consumption is a daily habit. I'm sure we all relate to it. In fact, the struggle for all of us is that, hey, I need to get off this app because I've been spending too much time on it, right? And I won't name that because I no longer work for them, but we know, there is a struggle in almost getting a de-addiction from these world-class algorithms who keep showing up absolutely amazing content every second of the day, right? But the second thing I want you folks to take away from this is that short form videos are no longer only for fun and entertainment only. Like I said, not only has the content type diversified, but also being present on such formats also lead to tangible business results, which means if you're trying to sell your next product or service and you're looking for your next prospective customer, chances are that if you can be present in a short video format on a surface and platform of their choice, you will be able to get the same marketing results with a much better ROI. So that's number two. Number three, again, a very obvious one. I'm just trying to put a data layer to it. About 10 years back, when I used to sell, some other platform in the market, at that point in time, the internet user of India was very male, was very urban, and very English speaking. But that's 10 years back. In 10 years, we have probably made as much progress as we did in the last 50 years or so. So the internet user of today, which means your consumer out there, is no longer urban, is no longer male, is no longer English speaking. In fact, the internet of today is filled with vernacular. I can't stress the importance of it. It is not a plus one, but it is a primary mode via which people consume on internet. Gone are those days when people would consume in English content. Remember YouTube of 2012, 2014. But today, consumer of internet is actually more comfortable in the language of their choice, in their mother tongue, as we call it. So vernacular is a big, big thing now. If you're a brand thinking about how do you resonate or how do you story tell to your prospective consumer, I can tell you nothing works better than vernacular. In fact, what we have seen is that some brands go on to the extent of doing the hard work of actually making different, and I'm not talking about ad copies, but setting an absolutely different tonality for their different regional campaigns, and the results that they get is absolutely amazing. So that's number three. Vernacular is a big, big thing, and it drives business results. Number four, again, a question. How many of you do some sort of video creation online, like are creators in your own right? It may be very small, but do you post, a travel video, your views on the economy or anything, right? It could be some of us, right? I'm sure if 5 years back we would have asked this, probably it would have been a surprise to a lot of us, right? That, we are in a profession, we are not doing this. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the data that we see at ShareChat and Moj, the boundary between a user, a consumer, and a creator is fast blurring, which means Gaurav during his day has a job, but during when I'm back from the office, I like to express myself authentically on a platform of my choice, and that's when I become a creator. And that is why what we see at ShareChat.Moj is there is actually an explosion of creators, especially in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Internet has actually become a way for people to express themselves freely, to actually vent out what they feel. They finally know that they have a voice in the country, in the market, and what better way than internet and a smartphone to do it, right? So that's number 4, but what does it mean for you when you're doing your marketing? Remember, when a big Bollywood celebrity or a cricket star talks about your brand, most of the consumers know that they're being paid for it. But remember, when a nano influencer who talks and walks the language and the clothes that his or her followers actually breathe and live, and when she talks about your brand, the impact that it has on real business results is just fantastic. We see this across all our categories, right from an FMCG to an auto to an handsets to gaming, in fact. Can't stress the importance of regional creators in planning your next marketing campaign. Okay. Probably the last one I will leave you with is, we all hear that, have you done your festive planning, quote unquote, which essentially means that there's these months of October, November, in which, of course, Diwali and other big festivals. What data tells us, and we've been doing it for 9 years now, that while, the months of October is a big, big festive in India, but trust me, the Bharat of today, the tier 2 and tier 3 India of today is actually celebrating throughout the year. So festive in India is not only restricted to a couple of months, which, by the way, foreign social media companies have taught us. It actually happens throughout the year. And how we experience it is that about 15 times in a year, 15 to 18 times in a year, we get Dow spikes on our platform, right? Because there is Guru Purab in some part of the country, Onam in another part of the country. The smaller regional festivals which people love to celebrate, and they celebrate on our platform. Again, what it means for marketeers is that India is no longer one big festive, but the next time somebody tells you, have you planned your festive? Think about how are you being present in vernacular using regional creators in some of these micro festivals that's happening in the country, right? So there may be a different one for Gujarat, there may be a different one for Assam, but if you nuance your marketing strategy for that, I can promise you fantastic results. Okay, and these are some of the things that we see. The blue one is like a baseline daily active users, and the red one is the spike. Clearly, you can see that multiple times in a year. This is happening on our platform. And that is because ShareChat.Moj is utilized by Indians all across, and that is what they're trying to do on the platform. This is one of the case studies. I won't, I'll spare you all the details, but essentially saying how can a large brand like Dabur Gulabri leverage our reach, our creators, our vernacular strength to run their marketing campaigns. Okay, that's it, folks. I just wanted to leave you with this last one, which is to say short form video is the present, it's not the future. The consumers have moved on, have you is the question. Regional language vernacular is booming like anything else. People are most comfortable expressing and consuming. Are you as marketers thinking about it? Thirdly, regional creators. Remember the boundaries are fast blurring, but are you as marketers utilizing these regional creators to put out your brand message? Last one is that there is no one big festive in India. We Indians love to celebrate throughout the year. Is your marketing campaign aligned to that? I'll leave you with that. Thank you very much.